People out west have always been survivors. The farmers, ranchers, and citizens who live in Montana and Wyoming survive because they work closely together to help one another out through difficult times. Today, a new problem has emerged that could threaten their way of life forever. Farmers and ranchers of the Great Plains have always owed their survival to access to water each and every year. By careful management and conservation, they have struck a balance with nature that has worked for more than 100 years. Some environmental groups don't believe these landowners, especially those with energy development, are doing a very good job of managing the water. The environmental groups want to dictate how these landowners should use their own water.
What we've been doing as Northern Plains is, as far as coal bed methane, we'd like to see them develop coal bed methane and do it right. And basically what that means is to protect the water.
And you talk about environmental groups. Your first question was what kind of group we were, and I don't think I said we were an environmental group, and I don't believe we are.
That's always been Northern Plains' point of view, and it's been mine personally, and with the high stakes that I have with managing T&Y. I'm on the operating committee on the Tongue River. If it's beneficial use, what is described as beneficial use for stock water, and if they want to go the gamble of putting that water on land, I'll guarantee you, when them boys are done putting that water on that land and they quit for any length of time, that is the end of it.
Most of our monies come from our members and stuff. So, like say, we're definitely, working for the interest of the farmers and ranchers that we represent.
For the year 2002 to 2003, the Western Organization of Resource Councils, Northern Plains Resource Council, and the Powder River Basin Resource Council received over $3.6 million. Less than 11% came from its members. Most of the funding came from large foundations in California, Oregon, Washington, New York State, and so on.
We, the people, the ranchers, and citizens and business owners of southeastern Montana, we are being misrepresented by the Northern Plains Resource Council. They do not represent us. They do not speak for us. Their views are completely opposite of the rest of us that live here. And I think it's about time that the general public, and especially our politicians, start listening to the real people that live here.
For the past 12 years, there has been an extreme drought in Montana and Wyoming. This drought has pushed farmers and ranchers to the limit. Most lakes and ponds are dry. Ranchers are forced to haul water from great distances just to keep their cattle alive.
This is a prime example of some of my stuff that's gone dry. Usually this would have water in it up until, about the 1st of July. It'd start getting kind of just where it's mud and whatnot. And as you can see now, it's completely dry. It has been dry all spring. It had water in it for maybe a week this summer. And behind it, what feeds it is a big meadow pasture that'd be perfect for irrigation. It's quite big. You could put a big pivot in it. And right now I don't even get to cut it for dryland hay because nothing grows in it. Just grass. I graze it and that's about it.
I could use the water. I could use some irrigation. I could use some pipelines for my cattle. I own a semi. I've got a 9,000 gallon tanker. Right now we're hauling water to cattle.
We would like the water to remain on our land and put to beneficial use for livestock, for irrigation.
Our stock have to travel probably in excess of 2 miles, sometimes up to 3 miles, just to obtain water, unless we have a heavy runoff or a summer storm that would fill our reservoirs. And with coal bed methane, what I've seen in the areas of development are the absolutely fantastic water pipelines and different things that the ranchers have been able to develop, and also in use in irrigation, in producing crops. And I think that would be a real positive benefit for us.
And we've been in a long drought, so we are very receptive to some sort of managed irrigation.
We're in about a 7 or 8 year drought right here right now. Last night we were fighting fires until 10:30, 11 o'clock.
Farmers' crops are failing because of lack of moisture. When agriculture hits hard times, so do the communities they support. Communities like Ekalaka and Broadus, Montana are barely holding on.
The population used to be about 3 times what it is now. It's basically a farm and ranch community, and we love it here. I mean, it's a beautiful place to live. Most of the people are farmers and ranchers, but unfortunately, it's really hard to make a living here.
If you was to rate the economy here in Broadus or Powder River County, basically a flat. There's been little to no growth as far as all the time I've been here, and for quite some time. Basically our young people are leaving the area. The county population continues to go in a negative direction, and the average mean age of most of the population here is now well over 60 years old.
I've worked in the grocery store in Broadus for 30 years, and I have seen people leave and leave and leave for different parts of the country because there's no jobs here.
I think the biggest challenge that we face is the declining enrollment, coupled with the fact that the amount of money that we receive from the state of Montana just has not kept up with inflation. And that's going to be our biggest challenge, is to be able to hire and retain teachers in this state. And I can't repeat it or emphasize it enough. Gillette, Wyoming has adopted a salary base of $40,000, and we are completely out of competition in recruiting teachers based upon that salary. Our base here is $21,115. We do start teachers on the fourth step, which means they'll come in at approximately $24,400, but compared to $40,000, we really are not in the ballpark at all anymore.
I have a son and a grandson that work in Wyoming, and the other day during a discussion I was telling someone about, we were talking about the young people, no place for our young people, and I made the remark, couldn't help it, I probably getting under people's skin, but I says, you know, Wyoming takes care of its own, it takes care of our young people, but Montana doesn't. And it's a darn shame that we have to let something like this happen.
This tribe is one of the poorest tribes in the nation, and there's basically almost no economic development occurring on the reservation. There's little things happening, but on a larger scale that the tribe could look to for their own building purposes and a means to improve our tribal governments and our infrastructure, or support our programs. It's not happening at that scale.
There is hope. In Wyoming, farmers and ranchers are embracing a new technology that allows them to weather the drought and keep their land and their dignity. Montana and Wyoming have one of the largest deposits of coal in the world. The rich coal veins hold vast amounts of natural gas. Production companies in Wyoming have been working with ranchers and farmers to extract the coal bed natural gas. The process involves drilling wells and pumping out the water from the coal seams. This water extraction allows the natural gas to be extracted and piped away separate from the water. Even the wild animal and bird populations which fled the drought are returning and flourishing. Many areas in Wyoming where the excess water is stored in ponds now provides habitat to trout and waterfowl.
We put this reservoir full of water because we've been in a 6-year drought, and the water has been really, really hard to come by, but the methane companies have